Hi, welcome to my blog. My name is Tom Shue, and today we're going to do a video tutorial. Now that I've got my computer back up and running, that is. It's been a long time, been a long day today, but I'm up and running. I've got video capabilities and I can record. So with that said, let's get started. What we're going to talk to you about today is textures, how to create them, where you can find them, and how to use them to create interesting photos for your photography. If you can't go out and make pictures of textures, you might want to make some. And say if you want to make some old paper looking textures, this is an easy way to do it. You can use orange juice or lemon juice. You just need a cookie sheet and a paper towel or whatever to slosh the juice around. But here's how it works. Take a piece of paper or dip your napkin into some orange juice. Take a piece of paper, lay it out on a cookie sheet. Kind of rub it all around on the paper. You can pour it on however you want to do it. Get it nice and wet. Stick it in the oven. I like to use broil because it goes a lot faster. About halfway through you want to check in on it. Just peek in every couple minutes. You don't want it to burn up too much. And then you'll end up with a nice texture. Nice golden texture. Lay it on the floor or whatever. Set it on a tripod. Take a picture of it. Here's the texture with the picture taken of it. And there it is cropped in. So now we have a usable texture. Well, textures live in a whole bunch of other places besides paper textures, and each one you make is going to be different. If you do make them with juice, because they're like snowflakes, kind of. Everyone's going to be different. But you can use old photo albums. This one's like a suede photo album. This is an old, cool embossed cover. This is an image cover that from like the 1930s, when you used to go to the lab to get portraits made. This is what it would come in. It's kind of neat. There's the back of it. This is a cool old book from Yusef Karsh, one of my favorite photographers in the world. It's got a nice linen cover to it. It's kind of nice. There's the back of it. You can also find textures throughout the whole world, like carpets. This is a piece of fabric. You can see that if you go close up on things with a macro lens, you can create neat textures. This is an old blanket that my wife has that we took a picture with a flash. I think even there's a hair in there. There's some scratched up bathroom doors with a pop-up flash. Some patina. You can see there's like some copper in this paint. There's some paint over here or something. Broken tiles, moss, bricks, doors, fabric with floral print, more paint, burnt boards, mud, flowers. We're going to use that particular image here to work on applying a texture image combination. There's some more flowers, mud, tractor tires, wicker baskets, you name it. This is some old cracked particle board. This is a cool old linen book. And here's the image we're going to use to create a combination texture applied colorful image. So this is from a maternity shoot I did a couple years back. As a matter of fact, she just had a new baby. So I want to make her a new image for her Facebook or something like that. So if we right click, you'll see you can edit in Photoshop, or you hit Control E and it will launch Photoshop. I preloaded these so it could speed up this a little bit, and then I also loaded this texture of the flowers. Okay. If you need to zoom, you hit the Z key, and Alt gives you the minus so you can subtract it. If you hold them together, you can move your mouse left or right and zoom in or out. Get you accurate framing for your work. So there's a few ways we can do to move this image over on top of this image. Okay, we can create a new layer here, and we could come in and select all by hitting Control A and hit Control C to copy it. Come back over, click on this layer, and we could paste it by edit, paste, or Control V, and now we have it. Well, there's a better way. There's an easier way. There's always 10 ways to do something in Photoshop. Well, this is an easy way. Up here you can see you have this new toolbar. It came out in CS4, I think, maybe CS5. If you have it deselected, you hit Control A to select it all. You're loading the whole thing. And this is your move tool. You can hit V, that's the shortcut to get to the move tool. If you hold down the shift key, you'll see that it's scissors now. We can drag this and it will lay it right on top of our image. You can see that it doesn't fit our image, so we have to space it and size it. Okay, and if it doesn't fit exactly the way we want, we can hit the Control T and we can transform this image by moving it into position that we want. Say we don't want to cover the floor, we just want it up on the linen itself. Maybe we need to move this over to there. That's some sheer material we hung up and we shot a flash through it to give it that nice background. Hit enter after you've got it placed the way you want. Now say if we wanted this to be not color, we want it to be black and white, we can go on this layer selected only, hit image adjustments, and then you can hit desaturate, and that'll just knock the color down to match. In this particular case, I want to use color, and I'm going to manipulate the color so it's a lot different than the way it looks now. So we can back that up. We hit Control Z, and over here is your blend modes. We're going to select the blend mode that I like to use called Difference. Okay, it's right here. It's below the screen. You can't see it. Now you see that it's turned all these flowers that live in the white area that blue color, and where they are in the dark area, it's the natural color. It's kind of a neat effect. But that doesn't look very good because it's all over our model. So what we want to do is we want to change this to a layer mask. We want to conceal everything with a layer mask and paint it in. So down here we have a layer mask icon. If you hold down the Alt key and click, it'll just load it up and hide everything. Here's our paint chips. These are color chips, I should say. If you hold the X key, that will change the selection from black to white, what's loaded. Since we're in black and black conceals, we need to use white to reveal. So since we have white loaded, if we hit the B key, that'll bring up our brush tool. And we can resize our brush, by coming up here and choosing a side as in a hardness. If we want a hard brush, we could select this one. If we want a soft edge brush, we could select this one, and then we can adjust the size. There's an easier way. If you hold down the Control and Alt key and use the right mouse button, you'll see it shows us our brush, and if you go up and down, it changes the hardness, and if you go left or right, it changes the size. Okay, so we want a nice soft brush, and I'm going to use one about like this size. We're going to go over here and make sure we have our mouse selected, because if you are our mask selected, if you have this selected, we're going to be painting on the image. If we want to paint on that mask, we want to use white paint to reveal those flowers. So now that we have that done, we can come in here with click on our left mouse button and just start to paint. And we can just bring those flowers and texture in. And you can apply any texture you like to any image. I just thought this would be kind of neat for Facebook or something like that. And we'll just paint these in here. Make sure we get it real good. So if we painted over her body, that's not a problem. We can hold down or hit the X key, and we'll change our selection to black, and now when we go in and paint, it will take it away. Okay, so let's zoom in a little bit. The Z key, and we'll bring this to a point where we can work with it. I'm going to hold down and resize my brush again, make sure we're working with that soft brush, because I don't want it to be a hard edge transfer between where I painted and our subject. I want it to be soft. So let's just get rid of all this. Off her belly too. Okay. Off her hand. And I'm just doing this for tutorial, so I'll go back and fix this up a little bit better before I send her this file. And then we'll clean it up off the floor a little bit. It almost looks like we got a flower backdrop in there now. You can see how that moire pattern that happened with my Canon 7D over here, the flower even fades in behind that pattern. So it's a really, really effective tool. If I showed you this image before I put this overlay, you might not know that it wasn't a flower backdrop. So these textures can be applied in lots of neat ways. So what we'll do is we'll flatten this image right here, flatten the image, and we're going to hit save. So we hit file or save or Control S. See, the shortcut is Control S, and that will bring us right back into Lightroom with that same image. So we hit the G for the grid view. You can see we have a new image here, and it's the one with the flowers. Hopefully that this technique and these textures and the information I've given you today will help you with your photography. So I want to thank you all for coming by today to my blog, and until next time, we'll see you soon.